deadly seductress
Tonight could be the night.
sets the tenderest trap
What's your first name?
Lieutenant.
for the unlikeliest suitor.
She's making a play for me.
You're not exactly Robert Redford.
He'll be more interested in me than his investigation.
Temptation in an all-new Columbo mystery, Saturday at 7:40 on Meridian.
This is a tough case.
It's coronation time for Harvey Moon.
Television. It's as if we was all there, really, in the Abbey.
You got a loose valve. Have you been banging?
She's a board banger, is Harvey. Oh, sorry.
And Stanley's out to make a good impression.
So that's your mum. So that's your dad.
Sorry about that.
The final episode of Shine on Harvey Moon, 8:30 Friday on Meridian.
Just Who is watching Eric Pollard, Emmerdale at 12:55.
And with up to 20% of the car's structural strength being in the windscreen, it's vital, it's expertly fitted. We use robots. We don't have to pay them. I don't believe it. Oh, come on, strike.
40 windscreens? No problem, sir.
Make sure it's fitted like it was fitted at the factory. Call Autoglass.
New Dolmio Prima uses extra virgin olive oil because it tastes so good. It brings out the full flavor of juicy tomatoes, roast onions, fresh garlic, herbs and spices, and is the essence of the healthy Mediterranean diet. New Dolmio Prima with extra virgin olive oil.
Garlic, cheese, pickled onions. Interesting choice, Commander, considering luscious Eleanor has arrived.
What? Got any mouth guard?
Might have.
Mac.
Oh, all right. McLean's mouthguard has advanced double-action formula. Half freshens breath. Other half helps fight plaque bacteria to protect teeth. She's not your intellectual equal, Commander.
But you should see her arm wrestle.
Double action mouth guard for twice the effect.
Don't be so mean to your hair.
Damage caused by everyday washing and styling soon adds up. But VO5 Hot Oil protects your hair by actually penetrating and conditioning deep down. For daily damage, get the weekly repair. VO5 Hot Oil.
What mark would you give the condition of your hair?
5?
If your hair doesn't feel good,
4.
you don't feel good.
2.5.
Together, VO5 Moisture Balance shampoos and VO5 conditioners add softness, shine, and manageability. For beautiful hair, VO5 plus VO5 equals 10. What mark would you give your hairstyle for lasting hold?
4. 3. 5.
Luckily, VO5's power styling range gives you ultimate hold. Alberto VO5 plus VO5 equals 10.
Do enjoy your golf, darling. I think I'll enjoy another bowl of Nestle clusters. I love the irresistible combination of whole wheat flakes and honey-kissed clusters of crushed nuts.
Oh, stop. Sorry, George. Game's off.
Nestle Clusters. Surrender to the taste.
Buy your glasses from Vision Express and they'll be ready in about an hour, even bifocals and varifocals. And you'll get a pair of prescription sunglasses from a selected range, worth at least £89 and absolutely free. Free prescription sunglasses with full UV protection.
Grassroots Meridian's gardening programme will be recording live tomorrow at Southover Grange, Lewis in East Sussex. If you have any gardening questions for Richard Jackson or guest Matthew Biggs, or would like to come and join in the fun with the Grassroots team, then come along to Southover Grange, Lewis, East Sussex.
acclaimed classic of brilliant bean buffoonery. Monday at 8 on Meridian.
I suppose I'm in a very fortunate position because my business is my hobby, and often the dresses that I think I've designed for myself probably wouldn't ever sell tend to be our best sellers. What I most enjoy is the satisfaction on the day that somebody's pleased with what we've done. I love being down here in the south of England. It's just a lovely place to work.
Good afternoon. A-level students have hit back at claims that exams are getting easier. Thousands of students across the south have received their results this morning. With a national pass rate of 84%, there's been widespread criticism that marking has been too lenient.
The scene this morning at Hitchin College in Southampton. Hundreds of students nervously waiting to discover if they'd got the A-level grades they wanted. For some, the news brought delight. Others, however, faced days of uncertainty while they tried to sort out their future. Among many of the students, there was anger at reports that this summer's exams were easier than in previous years.
I suppose the people should really sit there and take them themselves, really, to find out what they're like. I didn't find them particularly easy. I worked pretty hard, so...
It's not fair to say that, because people have tried really hard. There's a lot more people doing A-levels than there used to be anyway, so I don't think that's true.
I think it's ridiculous, actually, because I found them really hard. But I'm just glad I got the results I wanted.
Now the government's chief schools inspector is planning an inquiry into the standards of A-level and GCSE results. It'll go back more than 20 years and should settle once and for all whether they're getting easier. Neil Morrow for Meridian News.
Well, joining me now in the studio is Rodney Lyons, who's principal of Taunton's College in Southampton. Rodney Lyons, are these exams getting easier? You're the expert.
No, I don't believe they're getting easier at all. I think we're giving students better advice on what programs to follow. They've got a much wider choice now, and as a result, they're succeeding. But also, there have been many reforms in the last few years. Schools and colleges are placing a great emphasis on quality now, and I believe that we're getting it right with students. I agree with what the young people said in the clip we've just seen.
A lot of them, of course, absolutely delighted today, but there will be equally many students who will be quite distraught because the results haven't turned out as they would have hoped. What's your advice to them?
It depends, of course, how far out they are. If you've only slightly missed your grades for your university or higher education place, it's still worth contacting your original university or college to find out whether or not they will accept you with slightly different grades. If you've bombed by a little bit more, 2 or 3 grades down, there may still be places available for you at other places. Every student who's in the UCAS scheme, that's the University and Colleges Admissions Service scheme, will become part of the clearing scheme and will have the opportunity to apply if their previously accepted offers have proved unsuccessful. And every day next week they'll be publishing updated lists showing where there are places available.
What about the students, though, and it's happened to us all, who've really made a mess of it and whose results really are bad and certainly not good enough to get into university or whatever? Is that the end of the road for them?
No, of course not. I mean, there are many ways in which students can come back. In many cases, they can retake at their old school or college. Many colleges run special one-year courses for A-level students to retake or to start new subjects. People can study by remote control, as it were, by taking distance learning courses. There are lots and lots of ways you can study. It is never too late to return to study.
So your advice to those students would be pick yourself up, dust
yourself down and start all over again.
Lovely. Rodney Lyons, I'm very grateful to you. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, more news now. A 74-year-old great-grandmother from Sussex, jailed for not paying her council tax, has been freed. Madge Prince was sent to Holloway prison for 2 weeks for non-payment of a £470 bill.
Madge Prince emerged from Holloway prison in North London this morning to be greeted by her family. The 74-year-old great-grandmother has spent the last 14 days behind bars for refusing to pay her council tax.
Rules are rules, so you have to stand by them in there. And you feel caged. Well, I did. But we'll see what happens. I hope I prove my point.
Mrs. Prince has been refusing to pay council tax on her bungalow at Southwick near Brighton for the last 2 years. Finally, 2 weeks ago, magistrates at Stenning jailed her for failing to meet bills totalling £470. Her family were horrified.
It's really a barbaric thing to do, to not send, old age pensioners to jail, especially Holloway. And it's a long way for her family to travel. I think they could have got round the situation a bit better.
Mrs. Prince, a widow, hasn't decided whether to pay next year's council tax, but for now at least, she's enjoying a taste of freedom. Malcolm Shaw at Holloway Prison in London for Meridian News.
A man from Hampshire has been mauled by a shark while on holiday in America. 20-year-old James Oatley was swimming off the coast of Florida at Daytona when the attack happened. He'd been fishing with a friend and had been catching sharks. Mr. Oatley was treated in hospital and has now been released. He's due to return home to Hook near Basingstoke on Saturday. Police in Sussex are searching for a sex attacker who indecently assaulted a young mother in front of her 2 small children. The woman, who's 29, was cutting through Goss Park in Crawley with her children aged 4 and 2 when she was grabbed from behind. A decision to prosecute 3 men for escaping from Parkhurst Prison on the Isle of Wight has been criticised by the Prison Reform Trust. Keith Rose, Andrew Roger and Matthew Williams were on the run for 5 days last January. They're due to appear in court in